Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Yolanda. In today's video, I am back with another video. Today is kind of just like a serious video. And honestly, if you were with me back pretty much last year, I kind of changed the direction of my channel because I became passionate about this topic as an advocate against all this stuff. Yeah, so before we start, make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe down below and please go on to this video. I don't know if you guys have seen, but recently the 8 Passengers channel, the mother and her, I guess in a way co-worker, but I guess friend or whatever, connections, Jody and her got arrested, and thank goodness, like honestly I've been waiting for this genuinely, and luckily it's on felony charges and there's no bail bonds, so like they like are in there, like you got the money, you could definitely bail out, but they're not allowed to, thank goodness. And it happened Wednesday in the morning, and it's just so sad, the whole story, to be honest. And I'll just give you a little background. So the reason why I'm speaking out about this, usually like I'll stay away from this kind of stuff because in general it's like just really sad, but also because usually it's like I know bits and pieces, but I want to really fully speak on it if I know about it, you know, especially since I kind of relate to them in a sense, especially growing up a part of the church. It kind of just like resonates a little bit more, but pretty much it was this typical Mormon family, got a lot of kids, you know, big families, even there's like 6 or something, there's a lot of sisters. I never knew each and every one of them, but they have YouTube channels, they're family vloggers, and you know, they're really relevant on YouTube. Like that's why it's such a huge thing. And it's sad, you know, some cases like this are just swept under the rug, and like because they're more irrelevant, but really each and every case still matters. But yes, so basically, you know, things were fine then, and I can imagine life before the camera was okay, but I feel like, you know, with all the money and fame and all that stuff, being in the camera, wanting more views, definitely can get worse. And then I guess just, you know, with life, meeting people, you know, like how we're not always the same person, but when we meet other people, you know, things in our life can change. And for Ruby, hers was meeting this lady, and honestly that's where a lot of things went downhill with their channel. I feel like, you know, from an outside perspective, I don't know how it's like an inside, maybe it's worse or better than, you know, how I'm expressing, but you know, I used to be an avid watcher of them. I used to want to be like them, and always wondering, like, you know, why doesn't my Mormon family look like that? Like, why do we actually suck over here, right? It was just like all around just like, I don't know, you can tell the energy was going differently. And once I saw Chad no longer really there, and Sherry leaving and her breaking away, especially her message a few months ago about like how doing better and yada yada yada, and like her kind of separating from the family, her Chad and the husband and her divorcing, like that's when I really knew, like I knew beforehand things were going on, you can tell. And just a lot of the speculation, especially how they treated Chad, took him to that camp. First of all, let's talk about that. That is insane. If you have to take your child to a place just to be like, you know, like almost like beyond scared straight, just to like get them straight pretty much, then honestly maybe you shouldn't be having kids. Now there's people that like, and there's kids that are just like actually like out of control, and yeah, maybe there isn't no right answer, but one of the wrong things that I know for sure is definitely would I not let my child be stuck in a wilderness, especially hearing all the things that happened there, all the other kinds of abuse and malnourishment and just all the type of stuff that goes in there. There's even been deaths, especially out there in the West. So for you to want to bring your own child there is insane enough. And that right there kind of just like was like a red flag. At first I didn't realize what type of camp it was until people like started saying, no, this is like a behavioral camp. And then I was like, oh, then I looked at documentaries, and I watched documentaries. I'm a type of person, I love documentaries. I watched a lot of, you know, worldwide and nationwide ones, and you know, I'm really invested in that stuff. And so to see what happened and to hear all the stories, it really broke my heart to imagine that that is what Chad was put through. And I'm glad, you know, things are better for him, but I have so much sympathy. Like, I'm the kind of person, but like when somebody's going through something, like I feel it too. My friend just got in a breakup her boyfriend broke up with her 2 weeks ago, and I was like, girl, like, I literally almost cried for you. Like, I'm the kind of person that, like, my sympathy, empathy, whatever you call it, extends. Like, I can, like, feel it with you, and I feel just as bad. And it can be bad, but also, you know, like, a good kind of thing. But just in general, just the whole story, the fact that it took that to the point, there was multiple defects calls and, you know, interferences, but they did nothing, right? You know, just brush over the case. And one thing that they are notorious for is notifying. How are you going to notify the parents before, so just so that they can give them time to, like, you know, hide stuff, you know, gaslight and like manipulate the kids to say certain answers and this and that? Like, TF, what is this? Because that's just insane. And it's so sad seeing how much parents are more protected than the actual children. Because first of all, a lot of people don't even ask to be born, right? A lot of people don't even want to be here, but they're born by parents. Not every parent deserves to have children, but every child most definitely deserves to have 2 parents. And it's sad that a lot of people are brought up into homes, into places that they are unwanted, that they're just not in the best circumstances, and they didn't even ask for it. And it's so unfair, and it hurts my heart to see this be such a common denominator for so many people. And it's just sad, you know? And just once again, just like the system is just so messed up. But thankfully, like, you know, I have so much hope in our generation, but also, like, my heart is heavy and hurts for these people, just like the 8-passenger kids. You know, it doesn't matter if, you know, you're like middle class or high class, like, it's all corrupt all over. It's just so sad that somebody has to go through that. Like, you don't, like, ask to be born, you don't ask for all these things to happen to you. And yes, kids are going to be bad, they're going to act out, they're going to say things, but at the end of the day, you can't stop being their parent. You can't stop providing for them emotionally and physically. And if you don't know all the components of psychology we learned, I may not be no psychiatrist, like, licensed or whatever, but one basic fundamental thing to know about psychology and just the whole developmental thing is that if you can provide the needs, the psychological, emotional, mental, whatever you call it, physical needs for a child, and know that how it's supposed to grow and the things necessary for each and every stage, you shouldn't have a child, point blank, period. Because there's a lot of, you know, children out there that, you know, they go through things, and not saying like, oh, if they are nurtured in every single thing that they're going to turn to be the perfect person, because things happen. But in general, each kid should have those things growing up, but not everybody has that. You know, I didn't have parents that apologized every time. I didn't have parents that reacted the best way, or honestly, I didn't have parents that worked through their trauma before having kids, which I think is an essential thing though too. And there's so many things, you know, people have kids almost like an enrollment church, just where the connection is. People have kids just to have kids. I know, like, even my sister was like, I'm gonna have 6 kids. Okay, you can have 6 kids, but can you financially support them? This is where anybody, not just for her, but can you financially support them? Will you emotionally be there for each and every one of them? And that's the truth. You know, it's all cool. Oh my gosh, I have 6 kids. You know, I have people to, like, you know, take care of you when you get old. That's not guaranteed. That shouldn't be the sole reason why you want to have kids in the first place. And, you know, part of the reason that's why I was always like, I know, like, I joke about, oh my gosh, I don't want to have kids. I say it to my friend because I don't want to actually birth to that. But also just because it's so much to take care of a kid. I know I'm a lot to take care of. And so to think to have, like, even just more than one, to think to have any of that, and to have such a sole responsibility to, you know, you only get one chance. You messed up, you messed up. And so many problems and, you know, things that can happen. And, you know, one thing can really mess up a whole child's childhood. And, you know, I'm not saying that I grew up in the best childhood. Most definitely not. And there's a lot of things I wish I could have been better. And yes, there's people that have been in worse or better situations than me. But at the end of the day, not totally satisfied with things are being. But at the end of the day, like, I want to be an advocate for people that don't have the voice. And that's the kind of reason why I made a YouTube channel is, you know, not just like for the fun videos it had, but all the seriousness, to be there for somebody, to just be a voice, to hopefully one day be able to have like a podcast type of thing, to like really show people's stories and to hear, you know, how people's lives are, because I'm really interested. Once again, like, I'm a documentary girl. Like, I love to like hear people's stories and see where they come from and what they did with the situation and how they became better, or how they might have struggled but then got better, so like that. Because at the end of the day, you know, all you can really do is make out what circumstances might have been the best for you. But it's hard though sometimes, because sometimes it's just, life just really sucks. But, you know, one day justice will be served. It may not be in this life, but I always have the hope that one day I'll get the justice that I never got younger, even now. You know, I just hope that their case will go well and that they'll get the justice they need, because everybody at the end of the day deserves to just live a good life, you know. You know, bad things are supposed to happen, I guess so, but also it's not like we should be totally enabling these people and adults. Like they say, like, once again, like, why are we enabling so much for adults' protection against them when there's children that we should be protecting even more, because especially the whole developmental stage and how much more crucial it is and impressionable it is at their young age than when you're an adult. But yeah, that's my whole thoughts about the situation.